she gets that plugged in. There we go.
Make it more complicated. Okay, welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. I am Kris Mazza. My pronouns are she, her, and I am today's worship associate. Okay. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. She's giving me a sign. Okay, if this is your first time with us, we'd love to get to know you. Please sign the guest book in the foyer, or you can speak with Mike McNaughton, who's out there, or Reverend Tina for more information on our church. To learn more about spiritual enrichment programs for all ages, feel free to talk to Terra Louise, who's around here somewhere, our Lifespan Spiritual Enrichment Director. For kids here in our service, we have the activity table where they're all sitting right now, and we ask them to use whisper voices while they're talking there. Kids can also stay with their parents, or there's a quiet room in the library. We also have a nursery for kiddos 0 to 3, and Sarah is the nursery coordinator and can turn this off now. This is my first time, and everything got to go wrong.
I'm so sorry. You got this.
Okay. After the time for all ages, kids are invited to leave to go to their World Blessing class with Elizabeth Portillo's in the kitchen and the fellowship hall. Parents need to sign out their kiddos from this class after the service. We have our candles of community area over there and in the back. And you are invited to come up during the first hymn or now or any time before the prayer time to light a candle. And if you would like to write down your joy or sorrow, and they'll be shared during prayer time. Please go ahead now and silence your cell phones as we begin our worship service together. Okay. You are now invited to greet your neighbors. You are encouraged to greet someone you might not know or recognize, and you can also thank a musician, and you could wave or shake hands, and I'll call you back with the chime. Oh, my God.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. You handled it well. What? Oh, yeah, that's right. Go.
Hi, how are you? Yeah.
Hi, Renae. This is because you're doing sound today with a child. Oh, so someone said you were doing it.
So there's a new person. Just make it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Church announcements can be read weekly through our email, can be found on the website or in the flyers back there or on social media. Today we are highlighting a few long announcements. Today, after this service, you are invited to participate in a workshop called The Blanket Activity. Jovita Moyer, teacher at Los Alamos High School and Native American Student Support for Los Alamos Public Schools, and Mimi Adams and Reverend Tina will help co-facilitate this simulation. This simulation workshop will be from 12 to 1:30 in Fellowship Hall. Light lunch snacks will be served. We will be led in a restorative circle practice after the workshop. The simulation workshop is for adults and youth over 13, only if a parent is attending with them. This is a content warning of violence, rape, and genocide. Also today after our service, you can join the comparative religious class here in the sanctuary. The class will be Islam Part 2, The Life of Muhammad. This coming Friday, October 3rd at 7 to 8:30, join us here in the sanctuary for an animated film titled The Wanted 18. The Wanted 18 is an internationally acclaimed documentary that blends animation, interviews, and archival footage to tell one of the most unusual stories of nonviolent resistance in recent history. The film follows the true events of a small Palestinian town during the first Intifada, where residents set out to produce their own milk as an act of independence and defiance. Your turn.
Sorry about all those technical difficulties, y'all. My name is the Reverend Tina DeYoe, and I use she, her pronouns. And this is our call to worship time as we come together in this space. We come together as a community every Sunday to pause and worship together. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion, calling us to be our better selves. And our worship theme for the month of September, this is the last Sunday in September, we'll be switching themes to compassion next month, and this month is belonging. So today, our worship service focuses on the belonging and protection of every child. Every child matters. To belong in community with one another means that we look out for and protect those that are most vulnerable. Today, we are observing Orange Shirt Day, and a day of truth and reconciliation as we wrestle with our past history of residential and boarding schools for indigenous children in order that we may enter into healing and reconciliation work together. Every child matters. The forgotten children matter. The murdered children matter. The children who are still missing matter. Indigenous children matter. The indigenous children who suffered horrific traumas and/or death at residential and boarding schools in Canada and here in the US, these children and their children's children matter. We are here today observing this Orange Shirt Day, this day of truth and reconciliation, because we are all connected. Our stories are connected. My story is connected to Mimi's story. We are here today observing this day together because in Canada, there were 139 federally recognized residential schools. And in the US, there were 408 federally recognized residential schools, boarding schools. And there were 3 boarding schools founded by the Unitarians. Our history, our church's history. We honor the interdependent web of all existence, of which we all are a part. And today, as we honor this web of connection, we realize that our liberation and healing in this world is intertwined to the children of the past, the children of today, and the children of tomorrow. To be able to heal collectively, we must tell the truth and listen to the stories of the pain and trauma in order to cultivate empathy and compassion. This truth-telling and listening changes us and leads us on the path to standing up to violence against our children and saying, never again. There are indeed more of us in this country and this world saying never again and stop when it comes to inflicting violence upon children. There are more people in this world and in our country who are empathetic, who seek the truth, who listen with compassion, and who work towards healing. I know sometimes it doesn't seem like that is so, but I promise you that that is indeed the truth. We are here together, witnessing and honoring the healing journey of the survivors of residential and boarding schools and their families. The family of Mimi, Valerie, John, Mike, Tara, Mechach, and Sequoia. We are here promoting the truth that every child matters. Reconciliation happens when we all do our part. So we have come here today to remember the children. We are here facing our pain and grief of past history in community. We are here to listen to truths and stories. And we are here committing ourselves to the work of healing and reconciliation. The annual Orange Shirt Day on September 30th, so this Tuesday, opens the door to global conversations on all aspects of residential and boarding schools. This day is an opportunity to create meaningful discussion about the effects of residential and boarding schools and the legacy they have left behind. Mimi is now going to share with us a bit more on the background of Orange Shirt Day and some of her own story.
So back in 1973, 1974, actually a year after I was born, there was a little girl named Phyllis Jack, who later got a different last name. And she was going to be going off to mission school for the first time. And she was really excited to be going off to school. And her grandmother took her shopping and got her a beautiful, shiny orange shirt. It had the string laced up the front. It was bright and exciting. And when she got to mission school, they took away her orange shirt and put her in a uniform. And she never wore that orange shirt again. They never gave it back to her again. And the orange has always reminded her of that day and how her feelings didn't matter, how no one cared, and how she felt like she was worth nothing. All of the children were crying, and no one cared. She had a rough life. She became a mother at 13 and didn't know how to mother because her parents had all been off to mission school as well and didn't really learn how to parent. And she didn't know what it was supposed to be like and didn't have much guidance. With the help of her aunt, she was able to raise her son and have him know her as his mother, instead of what happened to so many other children, which was they would be given to someone else because their parents weren't considered fit to take care of them. A lot of times that involved putting them in foster care and putting them with non-native families. When she was 27, she went into a treatment center for healing for many things, trauma, substance abuse. And she had the feelings that she experienced of worthlessness and significance were ingrained in her from that first day of mission school. And it was the way she lived her life for many years. And she was the inspiration for Orange Shirt Day. Orange Shirt Day is a legacy of the St. Joseph Mission Residential School commemoration project and reunion that took place in Williams Lake, British Columbia, Canada, in May 2013. This product was the vision of, I have a problem saying a lot of these words, Esketlimch, otherwise known as Alkali Lake, Chief Fred Robbins, who was a former student himself. It brought together former students and their families from the Shuswap, Tsilkoin, Southern Dakal, and Strachamich, which is my nation, a larger nation that includes the Litwat, and along with the Caribou Regional District, the mayors and municipalities, school districts, and civic organizations in the Caribou region, which is all stuff up in British Columbia. The events were designed to commemorate the residential school experience, to witness and honor the healing journey of the survivors and their families, and to commit to the ongoing process of reconciliation. Chief Justice Murray Sinclair challenged all of the participants to keep the reconciliation process alive, as a result of the realization that every former student had similar stories. Orange Shirt Day is a legacy of that project. As a spokesperson for the reunion group, former student Phyllis Jack told her story about the orange shirt, her orange shirt in residential school. The annual Orange Shirt Day is on September 30th, and it opens the door to global conversation on all aspects of residential school, which were not just a North American thing. This happened to indigenous people all over the world. It's an opportunity to create meaningful discussion about the effects of residential schools and the legacy they have left behind. Discussion of all Canadians and US Americans can engage in to help connect and build bridges for reconciliation. A day for survivors to be reaffirmed that they matter. And so do everyone who's been affected. Every child matters, even if they're an adult. Every child matters from now on. And apparently it's time for me to take Tylenol. This is a hard topic, probably, to hear about, certainly to speak about. After struggling with what to say and what not to say, what I should say and what I shouldn't say, after wading through the pain, despair, hopelessness, and anger that forms my feelings about the residential and boarding schools, I have very few words that are succinct, healing, kind, or helpful. This issue, though only one chapter in the genocide against the indigenous peoples of North America, serves as a perfect example of that genocide. It demonstrates all the contempt, the exploitation, the derision, and the hypocrisy with which the indigenous peoples of this continent have been dismissed. I keep coming back to my mom, who was spared from the trauma of residential school only by the trauma of being stolen away from her family, people, and culture, and placed with often cruel and abusive foster families before eventually being adopted by a white couple. I keep coming back to my cousins, aunts, and uncles who suffered in the residential schools so intensely that most of them can barely even talk about it in anything beyond hazy references and troubled silences, and they still look filled with shame, even though what happened to them is not their fault. But for my mom, my cousins, aunts, and uncles, I also recognize and deeply respect the deep strength and resilience they had to develop just to survive. There was no coming out of that unscathed. Their resilience is not a testament to their own superiority, because surviving what broke and killed so many others, it wasn't their superiority that did that. It's just that someone had to survive. Someone had to bear witness. Someone had to tell the truth. And the ones who survived both the events and the aftermath, and the shame, and the feelings of worthlessness, and the need to hurt themselves, the need to escape into substances, the inability to talk to other people about what had happened. They had to emerge. They survived those events, and they emerged to tell their stories, and they could be considered the lucky ones, maybe. The thing about surviving soul-crushing pain is that it always stays with you for as long as you live. You carry on, even if it feels like it's still eating away at parts of you. You carry on, even if sometimes all you want to do is escape from that pain in any way you can. You carry on, even when you don't want to. I'm not sure that's lucky. I'm not sure that makes them the lucky ones. I'm not sure being the survivor is the same as being the lucky one. Because in that survival, you die a new death every day. In that survival, you feel that pain every day. In that survival, you carry those memories with you every day. I'm not sure that's lucky. That I have aunts and uncles and cousins who have told me that they wish that they hadn't made it. They wish they had been one of the children who tried to escape and froze to death outside or drowned in the creek nearby. They wish that had been them, because then they would be through with this pain. I have family who are so ashamed of the shameful things that were done to them. They have no shame, but they are ashamed of what other people did to them. That they wish they could do whatever it takes to escape that shame. And maybe their resilience lie not in the fact that they survived all of that, but the fact that they stick around. They stick around to raise the young ones. They stick around to talk, to make friends. They stick around in spite of what they want, because they know that they are needed and they are loved, and they understand that love is what can keep them there, because they don't want to cause pain to anyone else the way that they've felt pain. I wrote a story called Eagle Blessed, based on a story my mom told me that was told to her by a friend she made friends with online that supported U.S. soldiers deployed to other countries. I'm going to try to abbreviate this story for you very quickly, because my own feelings are still too turbulent to say more about this topic until I have more time, more ability to process, more ability to heal from the things that I have known, that I know have happened to my loved ones. And we don't need to go into the things that have caused me pain over my life related to being indigenous. But there's a lot of them. There was a young man who woke up in a hospital, and he didn't know where he'd come from. I mean, the last thing he remembered was being at war, and he didn't know anything that had happened since then. And he was severely injured and sent home, where the last thing he'd done there was he had rescued a young boy, a young goat-herding boy, who was in the middle of a battle when everything broke out. And this little boy reminded him of himself as a child. And he picked this child up and he ran with him, and this giant explosion happened. The man didn't know what the explosion was, but he wrapped himself around this boy to protect him, to try to keep him safe. And the boy survived, and the man was badly injured and sent home. The reason that this boy was so important to this man is because the boy was herding goats. And he was just a little guy, maybe about 5, maybe 6, maybe 4. But he was out there by himself herding goats when everything went wrong. And this man had his own memories of being out in the rolling mesas, herding his own sheep because his older brother was sick. And he was only 5. And 2 men came and threatened him with guns and threw a blanket over his head, threw him over their shoulders, and took him off to a residential school. And there they took away his name, gave him another name that he didn't know, took away his language. They took away everything he knew about himself. He grew up. When he escaped, they chained him to his bed and beat him. And then, because he didn't know who he was, because he was kidnapped from the middle of a land out in nowhere, no one asked his parents. They took him and they raised him, and then they sent him off to be a soldier. And he went, and he was a great soldier. He was like the best. And he always did everything right. He went off to war and he fought, and he didn't really like fighting. But there he got injured, and he saved the life of a little boy. And when he came to in the States, he had this nurse who was very interested in him. They didn't know who to contact to say, here, come, we found your relative. Because the only place he knew was the residential school. And so he had no one there with him. But this nurse took an interest in him, and the more he told her about his story, the more he remembered about the day he was taken, because that was triggered by the goat boy. The more he remembered that, the more he told the nurse, and she got a funny look on her face. And she said, I want to introduce you to someone whose older brother went missing back when they were children, and they never saw or heard from him again. And so she brought in a young woman, and the man woke up and opened his eyes, and there was who he could have sworn was his mother, almost. And for the first time in years and years, he said, "Mother," in his language. And the young lady laughed, and she said his name in his language. And he said, "My baby sister." And from there, he finally had a home. Let me get to where I am. I'm going to read the very last part of the story because the story was much too long to read. But I'm going to read the last 2 paragraphs. This is after he was released from the hospital. The pickup truck crests a dusty red hill dotted with dark green bushes. He sees people coming out of the house, waiting for the truck, waiting for him. They are strangers, but familiar strangers. All are too old or too young to quite match his memories. Some are missing, some are new. Somehow, though, all are familiar. He climbs out of the truck, careful of his sore but healing body. Overhead, an eagle's call demands their attention, and everyone looks up. Slowly, fluttering, floating, falling, is a single feather. He is fine. He catches it and holds it up to his face. He is finally home. It is a blessing. Treat love as a blessing. Remember, everyone matters. Remember, all children matter. Remember, all children matter, including the children that are still inside of you. It is a blessing. It is a blessing to be home. It is a blessing to have a home. It is a blessing to find your home. It is a blessing being able to bless others, because you matter too.
Thank you, Mimi. So what then is our continued reconciliation work? As Unitarian Universalists, as community members in community together, where do we start? Well, by knowing that we stand on Tewa and Kris lands here. And there are some takeaways for y'all, and you can take away some solidarity actions for working towards reconciliation with you today. Some events to be in solidarity with indigenous populations. There's the Indigenous Peoples Day powwow coming up, so we're gonna carpool to that. There's also the Los Alamos Public Schools Native Voices book group, which is also gonna be led by Jovita Morwa. How do you say your last name? Mauer, thank you, Jovita. Mauer back there, and you can go to that. You can also go to our blanket activity after in our fellowship hall. We'll have lunch snacks for you, and Jovita will also be leading us in this blanket activity. And the last thing I wanted to point out that we can be doing is, I don't know if some of you have heard of the Honor Native Land Tax, and this has been done through showing up for racial justice, the group Surge in Albuquerque, and there's one in Santa Fe. And so this gives more details on what honoring Native land tax is. And I would also say that if you are Indigenous and not a settler, please do not pay the Honor Native land tax. You can donate to organizations. But this Native land tax, they have a calculator that calculates what you can give and to this organization that then distributes the money to Indigenous-led organizations, Pueblo Action Alliance and the Red Nation. So please pick up one of these sheets as well. And there are also some other reparations work that the Unitarian Universalists have done, some history around that as well. So you can pick up some of these as you head out. The other thing, easy thing that you guys, we can all be doing on September 30th is wear orange, wear your buttons, wear it to work, wear it to school, wear it out in the community, and educate people of what Orange Shirt Day is. This is a national holiday in Canada, but it is not yet so here, which I think it should be. So let us go out and do this reparation work together, and let us be in community doing this healing and reconciliation work. So you are invited to join in these actions with our community.
Come on, singers. Many of you have already heard this song because we've done it before. It is a song written by my aunt, Martina Pierre. It has spread through much of North America and even to other continents. It is, for us, it's a song that is a reclamation of our communities and our strength, because patriarchy was basically enforced on my matriarchal culture. And as we've returned to our beliefs and our values, we've started valuing women for the strength we have again. And so Auntie Martina wrote the Women's Warrior song.
Let us go out together, committing to be healers in this world that desperately needs more healing. And let us remember that every child matters. Amen, and may it be so. And please join hands, and you can join in on singing our song, The Way. You can join hands if you would like.